Hey, aloha mai kako. My name is Dimont Kalai Manaole, and co-manager of Ho'omanapono LLC, a native Hawaiian advocacy corporation operating on the beautiful Waianae coast. We're up here on the Aina, in Luolole Valley, and I was just had some thoughts um, regarding the military's um, leases that's up in 2029, 2030. And, you know, for me, I am aloha aina, mau amau, right? Aloha aina, mau amau. And, but I'm also a realist, right? And I was there at the trial, the bench trial, that Auntie Maxine Kahaulilio and Ku Ching had successfully fought for against DLNR for their failures in um, monitoring the army at Puhakuloa. And it was an atrocious kind of conduct that, allowed them to prevail. These are warriors on the front line. We love Auntie Maxine and Uncle Kuching for what they did. They was there and they got the job done, right? Now I know in our lahui, especially for those of us who believe ourselves and consider ourselves as subjects of our kingdom and who are aloha aina, true and true, that we would rather see the military gone forever away from Hawaii, right? But there was something that was said in that hearing that day that we was there during the trial, where the lawyer for the army had made a bold statement that said to the judge, Your Honor, you know, we we didn't have to engage in a contractual agreement with the Hawaiians. If we wanted to, we just take the entire island chain under our control. And the arrogancy of that statement hit me at the core of my being. I was angry for a long time from hearing that. And that always stuck in my mind. And then recently, um, with these talks, not accepting the FONSI and environmental impact statements and stuff like that from Bill and I'm glad that we won those victories because at least the truth was told. At least the truth is being told now, right? We can tell the truth today and live the truth and understand the truth. And the military has a lot to answer for with regards to that. And their conduct go all the way from Kaho'olawe to Puhakuloa to Makua. Everywhere they step foot, they desecrate the land. And my thing, personally, when I'm able to voice my opinion, is that if the military treats our own land like that and it's nothing to them, I wonder how they would treat Arlington National Cemetery. If Hawaiians would say, you know what, hey, let's go build one telescope over there and let's go dig up the land and go build some condominiums and or maybe we'll go do some training of our own at Arlington National Cemetery. How much anger and resentment would come from Poehole if we said that, if we try push for that, right? I would think that from their perspective, that'd be a ridiculous proposition. So, likewise, it's a ridiculous proposition for what they've been doing to our lands. However, Governor Josh Green just made some stark statements. That was along the same lines that the lawyer for the army had stated in the trial um, of Pohakuloa. In that, if we don't come up with an agreement of some sort, you know, they're liable to just, take it, period. And we'll be stuck with nothing. As much as I don't like that statement, I don't like people boxing me in my own life. I don't like people ever boxing me in and give me ultimatums. Me, I have a tendency to say, okay, then fuck it then. Yeah, let's go. Let's roll. You know? But when you're thinking about other people, when I'm thinking about my wife, I'm thinking about her kids, my kids, our life, and other people. When you can run them, when you run them hard, like I've been running them hard most of my life, I run them hard on my own, and I have some serious regrets regarding that. The biggest regret I ever had was not being a father to my children, and that has deprived me of being a father, a grandfather to my grandchildren, because I was selfish. I'm be honest, I was selfish. I just did what I thought I wanted to do, whatever I want to do, however I wanted to do it, and fuck what everybody say. Knowing I had two different baby mamas, two kids from two different baby mamas, and then my kids ended up having kids, and they never knew their father growing up. So, state for the record that forever I will be ashamed of myself by not being a father to my kids. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would rather have stayed in Kahuku, um, married the mother of my daughter, and lived my life. And because I made that mistake and got into another relationship, the relationship wasn't a mistake, and the children wasn't a mistake. But for my own selfish understanding, even though I feel like I had a good reason, other people never see them that way, and then ended up meeting another wahine and having another kid. And even then, I blew all that, right? So I have a lot to be regretful for in that respect. Not even counting committing crimes against innocent people. That was just totally unhoin and not pono. And I strive to do better today. But anyway, getting back to what we're talking about is that the stark reality is the military can just go ahead and just take everything. They can take everything. And are we willing as a people to say, hell no, you ain't taking shit? I hear a lot of people in Alahui have all these legal theories about war crimes. It's war crimes. And you're going to be held accountable and all that. And, they tried running that war crimes argument in the courts. And the courts, they don't even listen to that. They let you talk, but in the end, they go, well, try bring them, right? And this is the stark reality. What country on the planet, or what countries on the planet, right? Think about it. On the whole planet, what countries, let's say China and Russia, the biggest opponent that America could face. You think that China and Russia would come together, unite, and tell America, stop doing what you're doing to the Hawaiians or else? And then act upon that threat. Think about that. Would they do that for us over here in a little archipelago out in the middle of the ocean? You think they would do that? What if 100 countries said, America, stop doing what you're doing to the Hawaiians? give them back their land. You see, all these legal theories that's out there about war crimes, you got to understand, they need to tell the other side of the story. War crimes, as it's being spoken of, is part of the Geneva Convention, is part of the creation of the ICJ, the International Courts, right? It's part of the ICC, right? And who created that? America is a founding country of all those organizations. Have you read the charters? The charters for that? That charter only applies to member states. Okay, that's important. If we're going to continue to talk honestly, it applies only to member states. But what happened in the Larson case? What happened? Why was the Larson case never decided upon? Because I'll tell you why. Because America did not participate in the trial. Why did America not participate in the trial? Because America had formally removed themselves from member state as a member state of that whole organization. So the World Court doesn't have jurisdiction over America. They will tell you, we don't have jurisdiction on America. America had formally removed itself. See, it was good for America to create that when they can use that as a power against other countries that they wanted to dominate and control. But when those countries started recognizing that, hey, maybe we can hold America accountable for their own shit, America said, like under George Bush, we're out of here. You're not holding us accountable. And they bailed from that. And they're no longer a member state. And that's why the Larson case was not completed. That's why. Okay, so there is no jurisdiction of any world court, faction, whatever. And then there's another stark reality out there. Now, you guys can go research this yourself. You can go look them up. Okay? Hawaii is not part of NATO. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that's NATO. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And why is that? Why is Hawaii not a part of that? Because when NATO was created, Hawaii was not a part of the 50th states. Never had 50 states at that time. So Hawaii was not part of it. So technically, Hawaii is not a part of NATO. So if Trump wanted to, he could say, fuck Hawaii. Go ahead, they open game. Anybody like him, go get him. You know, he's what they call that? He's an isolationist. They believe in America first, and only America, and America's borders. And if Hawaii becomes too much of a problem for him, he can just say, you know what, put you out there in the middle of the ocean for whoever, like, whatever big fish out there, like eat you up. Go ahead. Might even make a deal with China. I mean, this guy like making deals. What if he made a deal with China, squash all the beef? You can take Hawaii, leave us alone. What's gonna happen then? See, all these things that's out there is you gotta think on a big scale. You cannot just look in your small little window on a small little island in the middle of the Pacific and think you get all the answers. Sometimes the hard answers is right there before your face. So I would like to say this. I'm going to stand with Governor Josh Green. I'm going to stand with Governor Josh Green on this one. We got to come to the table and make a reasonable agreement with the military. They're willing to agree to something, right? And for me, I will push off the top for Hawaiian homelands. Off the top, right? And whatever you feel about Hawaiian homelands, this, that, whatever, I can tell you this right now, bro. If the lands was under DLNR, Hawaiians wouldn't smell shit of that. Because DLNR are not there to protect our interests. Even though they, by by their own statute, they're supposed to be protecting our interests, but they're not. They're controlling our lands. They're not allowing us to be on our lands. In fact, they're trying to take the land from Bumpy Kanahele right now, right? They're out there talking about getting him off his land because there is no lease agreement, right? So, I read the minutes from the Borderland and Natural Resources. Go read them. When it comes to that land over there, just go read them for yourself, and you're gonna see, right? So the reality is, the only safety that we really do have for Kanaka under Aina is Aina that's under the Department of Wine Homelands. That's the only true safety that we get. What little left that we get is there. And so I would argue that the military lands the military is willing to part ways with, should be placed on the Hawaiian homelands. Because that's where Hawaiians really gonna be able to thrive, like I'm doing right here on these 4 acres. I could never do this anywhere else. I could never be successful with this move that I made, this political protest that I did on my own. You know why I did them on my own? Because my people was too stuck on all these ideologies that's out there, and it was run around like circles, like the Israelites roamed the 40 years in the desert, constantly stuck and stupid, just rotating, regurgitating freaking bullshit information that has no relevance in today's society, right? I mean, it's going to offend a lot of people, but I don't give a shit. Because the reality is, unless you have a standing army to put forth your theories, right, your claims of ownership, unless you have a standing army to put forth that, you don't want no authority to do anything. You cannot fucking bust a grape over here, right? You cannot bust a grape. What happened to Kingdom of Atui? Where is they? They came out strong. Oh, we're going to take over Oha. And what happened? They got arrested. I was told firsthand, if they come over there, try evict Uncle from Wamanala Man's place over there, if they try to evict him, our marshal's going to arrest the sheriffs. Talking big talk. Our marshal's going to arrest the sheriffs. I said, I like see that. I really like see that happen. And what would happen? I got a call the morning of. She said, hey, the auntie that was hanging out with Uncle William Char. Hey, you get King Dane's number? I said, I don't know his number, but I know somebody that get his number. I said, why? Because the sheriff's here, and they just want to escort the marshals off the property. Huh? I thought the marshals was gonna arrest the sheriffs. And you see what happened at Oha, right? And then they went go back climbing into the cave, never was to be seen again. Hey, everybody get well-meaning thoughts and ideas and all that. But the reality is, if you no more want standing army to bust on fucking grape, you need to just shut your fucking mouth. Because you're misleading our people and giving our people thoughts in the head that they think they can. I come from the real world, bro. I come from the prison system, bro. I come from Halava High Security Facility when it was the high security from 1981 to 1991 in August when it ended. So unless you was in a high security at that time, don't go act heavy and don't go talk heavy. Okay, because I was with some real wolves over there. Real killers. Guys that wouldn't think twice but to bust your skull wide open, right? So all this woofing talk out here about how heavy people is and what they're going to do, what they're not going to do because they want martial or they want kingdom, whatever. But You're not fooling nobody but yourself. You're not fooling me, right? So let's get real. Okay, let's get real. You might have your feelings hurt. You might be butthurt right now because I was telling you the truth. But the truth is, unless we get on standing army, we got shit to fucking do. We can't do a motherfucking thing because the system is there. If they want, yeah, you can go up against the state and they look bad. Hey, Mauna Kea will succeed. But we're gonna do another Mauna Kea, right? Are we gonna do a Mauna Kea with the military? With the military, with that guy that's in the seat right now, Trump. With Trump, you see what they're doing in D.C. You see what they're doing with these ICE agents. It's all the white supremacist guys you can go recruit. Ain't nobody busting a grave. Yeah, you can go tow their car, but they got something for you. It's time to come to the table. It's time to come to the table and negotiate in good faith with the military. Let us be Kanaka. Let us be Hawaiian. And let us negotiate in good faith. We got good leaders up there that's willing to negotiate on our behalf. And we need to be there at the table to talk to them and let them know what is acceptable and what not is acceptable. Right? We can come out with a win-win situation for everybody. Right? A win for the military, a win for Hawaiians, and a win for the state. We can do that. But we gotta put our pride down. Unless we're willing to be annihilated, we're not carrying out the wishes of our queen if we act like that and we talk like that. We've seen what our queen did, and what our queen did opened the way for the flourishing of our people on our own homelands, because the prince that came after her opened that door, Prince Kuhio, right? So we can survive and live for another day. And if you notice, from the explosion of Kanaka on the homestead, they wanted 50% blood quantum. And because we had a lot of Kanakas living in the same territory, if you know Nanakuli Homestead, everybody related. Waianae Homestead, everybody related. Wamanalo Homestead, everybody related, right? You go any homestead, a lot of the families are related because they intermarried, right? That keeps the blood strong. So that is a hope. The homestead is the hope for our people, to keep our people alive. As long as a Kanaka is alive, we have a chance to fight for another day. And that's what I want to put our people in a position for. Now is not the time to act big body. Now is not that time. You're not ready for what's coming next. You're not ready. You're not ready. I've been in a lot of fierce battles. There's a lot of times I should have died. I was there. Talking about in a prison and a criminal world, when a lot of bad shit happened on the streets and in the prison system, and I watched it. I was a part of that. And I never want to wish that on anybody. And out here, most people just like Kanikapila on a weekend. They like come home from work, grab one case beer, drink, relax, chill. They like raise their children. They like pay their bills. They like burn rubber with their trucks. All their Toyota trucks out there burning rubber, with their boys. They like racing their motorcycles up and down highways and the freeways and all that. People just want to live free and they want to enjoy life. So for every Kanaka out there, join with me to send a clear message to the governor that we support you. He's been doing right by Hawaiians all this time since he came into office, and I'm going to support him the next time around because he's been doing right by us. Let us do right by ourselves. Support the governor. Let's go ahead and deal with the military. Aloha.